Well, a 0-0 yesterday, Brighton against Wolves. If you were watching the match, it was far too tight to call. Really was. Don't know if I would have laid the 0-0 second half because of the very, very strong both teams to score record of these sides and Brighton's ability to score at home. So if I did lay the draw second half, you've got options to exit. You either use the lay 1-4 staking plan, put your loss to one side, or you get out with a third of liability as loss, having said to yourself, I've given them X amount of time to get a goal between them, but none was forthcoming. Let's have a look at the Netherlands. Over 2.5 goals, anybody? Well, all bar the one match there, which was a pity. Both teams to score, 1, 2, 3 out of 5 as well. Just a little thing I do with the Eredivisie, both teams to score and over 2.5 goal accas. As you can see, normally an absolute goal fest. Spanish La Liga, well, it got going second half. You could have laid the draw second half here with Atletico Madrid starting to dominate the match at the end of the first half. Alvaro Morata and Antoine Griezmann on the pitch. If they score, the odds will rise markedly, which indeed is what they did. The African Cup of Nations was very exciting yesterday. Egypt have scraped through. They were leading 1-2 against Cape Verde, thinking they'd done enough to get through. But then Cape Verde made it 2-2. But that was immaterial because Mozambique and Ghana was a draw. So let's look at the standings as they are now. And when you play these tournament matches, for me, I think it's the final match in the group stage which holds the most potential for the trader because things have to be done. Egypt have to get a result, and they're just scraping through. Look, thanks to that draw. Had Ghana not conceded late to Mozambique, Ghana would be through. And that was without Mo Salah as well. Very tradable match that. If you were staying with the fact that Egypt had to win, look at that 1-0 lead by Cape Verde in the first half. In-play stats was certainly with Egypt as well throughout. So a well-deserved lead to make it a well-deserved equaliser and then a lead to back it up. So you could have play matches with motivation. Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, just a 1-0 win for Nigeria. They were the dominant force there. Sorry, looking at the standings. Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea through Ivory Coast, the hosts. Look at this, 4-0 defeat. Oh boy. Their in-play stats did suggest, well, they had a goal disallowed, which was a pity. But this was a real capitulation. Another goal disallowed here as well. So if you did trade this, you'd have been a little unlucky, I would say, with 2 disallowed goals for offside. And then suddenly a raft of 3 goals, unexpectedly, for Equatorial Guinea. Qatar, oh, well, fancy that. Qatar, the host country, winning again. They got the referee from the Real Madrid-Almeria match playing, have they? 66th minute, 1-0 win. Good result for Qatar in the Asian Cup. Find themselves top of the group. Fancy that, eh? Nothing suspicious there at all. Tajikistan and Lebanon thoroughly deserved the win. Tajikistan, if you played the red card, I think you'd have been happy with the reaction from Tajikistan. They were a goal down and Lebanon were red card. That's the ideal opportunity to take on 10 men when they've scored a goal and they're leading because their odds are going to be naturally lower. And if you looked at the match, if you were watching, and I would recommend you watch league match, international matches, simply because we don't have a backbone of form to work off as we do with league football. Well-deserved equaliser if you played, well done. Really took advantage of the red card to Tajikistan and got a very rare win as well. They'll be delighted having finished second in this group after 3 matches. So they're going through. Superb stuff for them and for Egypt. So much of a bit of a quiet night yesterday, and this was excellent research, I thought, by myself. I did say Ipswich could try and keep Leicester to a single goal. If you stuck with that angle, and given the fact Stephen Francis kind of person who would tell us own goal or penalty, treat it with a little bit of suspicion. So Ipswich carrying on their pattern, as I said in the research, of keeping these top 3, top 4 sides very, very quiet. Maximum of 1 goal. Eminently gettable then, Leicester, on that basis. You've had to wait to the 89th minute for that equaliser. Jamie Vardy looked like he was rested. Looked like he came on very late. Probably to salvage things. So all in all, an okay evening. Napoli and Inter Milan. This was actually an exciting watch, the Super Cup. It's a tournament being taken place in Saudi Arabia, but it was a full 11. You would have been favouring Inter Milan throughout if you looked at the lineups and saw the kind of players missing for Napoli on international duty. It's not shown here. I don't know why. Aussie men and a couple of others. So normally they would show the international absentees at the bottom there. But it was a very, very exciting match. Thoroughly deserved, I think, for Inter Milan. With the red card. Excuse me, very, very late night for me. With the red card, you could have taken on that 0-0 late on. On to today, and it's not the most exciting coupon in the world. Chelsea and Middlesbrough. Let's have a look. It's a second leg. It's basically, think of it as 0-1 Middlesbrough at half time. So Chelsea really must score first. Otherwise, they've got a 2-goal mountain to climb. I think psychologically Chelsea will be aiming for 2 goals today in case they concede. Because on aggregate, if they concede, it will be 2-2. Middlesbrough have impressed against Premier League opposition and impressed against Rotherham at the weekend. Despite being very strong favourites, they did get us a quick equaliser in the second half when going a goal down to Rotherham. I like their defensive setup, but the market is clear with Chelsea. They expect Chelsea to dominate. I think those odds are a little bit too short, given what Middlesbrough achieved with that 0-1 lead. Middlesbrough, don't forget, only need a 0-0. I know that's very negative football and tends to backfire, because if you do a 0-0 and the opposition score, what's your plan B? English League 1, English League 2. I don't tend to research, but I thought I had to really today. I prefer to monitor in play. Lay any second half 0-0 Bolton and Cheltenham. This is 4th against 22nd. So you've got a natural inclination towards Peter Kay's boys. Cheltenham have recently had a 1-goal a game habit away. That's not going to be good enough this evening, and it could leave a target on their back if they score first. I'd expect of Bolton today, but remember we're nearly into February. Teams like Cheltenham in 22nd are going to be extra resilient and try to pick up points as we move in to the end of April and the end of the season. So just watch out. Just something I've noticed with these sides, 20th plus in leagues. They have put in some very sturdy performances. Bristol Rovers against Exeter is 12th against 20th. 3 consecutive defeats for Bristol Rovers. Saw both teams score. Both teams have scored in the last 10 and in the last 7 at home. So that's an angle to work with. You'd be favouring, I suppose, the higher ranked side, Bristol Rovers, if Exeter score first on that both teams to score angle. They are unbeaten home and away against 18th and lower as well, Bristol Rovers. They do score in the last 15 minutes. So watch out for that if they need a goal. Exeter have not beaten the top 14 side home or away. It just looks very clear cut, doesn't it? But as I alluded to above with Cheltenham, Exeter in 20th place might provide some firm resistance today. They are very poor in the last 50 minutes of each half. So if it's quiet coming up to the 30th minute mark or the 75th minute mark, why don't you take a gamble on Exeter conceding? Charlton against Northampton, 16th against 10th. 5 losses and a draw in 6 matches for Charlton. They've scored and conceded in the last 5 at home. They have conceded in the last 15 matches. 15 goals scored at home in the last half hour of matches for Charlton as well. Only 2 defeats since the 11th of November for Northampton. It's good stuff. They have conceded in the last 8 away. Wins away against 8th, 11th, 20th and 27th. Very sporadic wins away. It perhaps is a reason why they're not favoured, despite only 2 defeats since the 11th of November. Charlton's poor form recently doesn't fit in with an odds-on quote. I think they might be gettable today, particularly with that both teams to score angle. And Northampton, only 2 defeats since the 11th of November. But as I say, that sporadic away winning form doesn't really capture, does it? Charlton do score last half hour of home matches, so watch out for that. 15 goals scored at home in the last half hour of matches. Wow. So we might have some late action, Charlton and Northampton. Oxford against Barnsley is a top 6 clash. So on that basis, you can't really discount Barnsley. 3 wins in 4 for Oxford. Draw, win, loss at home recently. The loss came against Derby. That's no disgrace. Derby are a top 4 side. Both teams have scored in the last 5 matches for Oxford. They've scored 2+ goals in the last 4. So on paper, they're looking okay. 9 out of 11 goals conceded at home have come second half for Oxford today. They're looking to keep a clean sheet in the first half. 11 goals scored in the last 15 minutes as well of home matches. So just watch out for that for Oxford. Potential late finishes. That's another yawn. Goodness me. I'm doing a lot of late hours at the moment. And there's no coffee. Both teams have scored in the last 8 for Barnsley. So we've got a both teams to score habit for both teams. It's a strange market, this one. They've not beaten the top 6 home and away, Barnsley. That might be the reason why they're not ultra strong favourites. 2-2 away v second, 3-0 loss away v third. So they have lost heavily to the top 3 and placed 6th today. A team with only 1 loss since the 3rd of October is not even favourite. That's Barnsley. So I think this is a market which has underestimated the chances of Barnsley. This could be a very tight 1-goal-in-it match. Both teams to score are possible. Wigan and Wycombe, 2.5 the favourite in English League One. As Les Dennis would say, I'll give that one a miss. Reading against Derby, 1.8 the favourite. Only 2 defeats for Reading since the 25th of November. They have scored in the last 8 at home. 2+ goals scored in the last 2 at home. This is 21st against 3rd. So Reading are putting in a good run, but they have all this turmoil at home, which might scupper their plans, home support, shooting them in the foot, basically. Only 1 defeat for Derby since the 31st of October. It's going to see them tough to beat. I've been following Derby, and they are worthy favourite today. I've got a clear favouritism towards Derby, and will look at taking on any Reading lead. They have scored in the last 8 at home, as I say. Derby, very strong scorers in the last minute of each half. So if they do need a goal, or if it's 0-0, 30th minute, you might want to just lay the 0-0 half-time score market. If they need a goal coming up to the 75th minute, you might want to take on the scoreline or any Reading lead. English League 2, Bradford against Salford. Salford are under new management, so I'm going to pause the research there, okay? Because we might see an improvement. They played a top 10 side in Crawley last match. That was a 0-1 win. Their in-place stats were absolutely superb. So I would caution you to watch the in-place stats for Salford. Under new management, could see a vast improvement, greater than what we're seeing in the market. This is 16th against 21st, so Bradford could be gettable today. Salford will show you their cards via their shots on and off target. MK Dons against Wimbledon. MK Dons' form is more consistent recently. Only 2 defeats since the 24th of October. And they've had 5 wins in the last 7 at home. They look pretty good. MK Dons are yet to beat the top 9 at home, though. And they're playing 10th today. 64% 0-0s at half-time away for Wimbledon suggests their possible setup away, but do expect goals second half. 10 out of 12 goals conceded away have come second half for Wimbledon. So that's a real angle. MK Dons look pretty good. Just pay attention to the fact they haven't beaten the top 9 side at home and they play 10th today. Morecambe against Crewe. Leave that one alone. 2.4 the favourite in English League 2. I'll take the hint. It doesn't mean it's not tradable. It just means it's the market's telling you don't bother researching this because we've looked at it we can't split the sides. And that's the conclusion I would normally come to if I did the research. Either you can't split the sides, or both sides' form is so poor that you can't pick a favourite. Hearts and Dundee. Well, Hearts are having a brilliant season. Only 2 defeats since the 1st of November. Came against Rangers. That was only a 0-1 at home. And Aberdeen. They're really solid. They've beaten Celtic recently at home as well. 3 wins in 4 matches, includes against Celtic. 8 out of 11 goals scored at home have come second half. So there might be second half scorers today. 3rd against 7th. Only 1 win in 6 for Dundee. They're conceding 2 goals in away matches recently. Got to favour Hearts here on paper. I try to be up and about this evening. It's just one of these. I grit my teeth having to stay up till 2:45 a.m. for lower tier football. It's not ideal, but I'm in a good bit of form at the moment, as my Betfair bank balance will attest. I'll certainly be up and about for the African Cup of Nations because it's been such an exciting match. You need to know the permutations. So the best way to get the standings is in isolation. Go to a match, then look at the standings. Do please read these previews. They are superb. They will give you a clue as to what's going on. For example, I think Senegal might be through, one of the highest ranked sides. They've got 2 wins. They can't be caught by Cameroon. This is the 3rd match in a group. So they are through. Guinea can be caught by Cameroon. Senegal with a draw will guarantee first place. So you've got to know the permutations. Gambia and Cameroon. Cameroon must win. Gambia cannot get through. It's a must win for Cameroon. So get Roger Miller in there. Off we go. Angola, Burkina Faso. It's all to play for. Everybody apart from Mauritania can go through. Must win for Algeria, who have been poor. A couple of draws. So I wouldn't be taking that 1.4 to heart. Although it is must-win territory, so you do lay any late draw. And that's it. Angola and Burkina Faso, that's in the same group. It's all, yeah, this is the winner will go through here. And a draw. So are these two going to be playing for a draw? Because a draw is mutually beneficial. A draw will add 1 point to this, and they won't be able to be caught. So this has the knockings of a draw about it. Normally, when you see this in Italian football at the end of the season, the draw will actually be the favourite. So just be careful here. Are these two going to engineer a draw? In the Asian Cup, Australia, Uzbekistan. Let's have a look. How are the Aussies getting on? Well, this is the 3rd match in the group. The Aussies can't be caught by Syria. Uzbekistan can be caught by Syria. So a draw will suit Australia and Uzbekistan. Syria against India. Let's have a look at the standings. India can't go through. Syria can possibly go through with a win, but they need positive goal difference. And that could suit if Australia get the win and Syria win by 2 goals. So Syria would be looking for a win today. Hong Kong against Palestine, the match everyone's been talking about, he said sarcastically. Hong Kong can't go through. Palestine can go through with a win, but the goal difference is huge. It's 5. Yet another match where Iran and the UAE need a draw. So the people who are organising the African Cup of Nations and the Asian Cup, they've just shot themselves in the foot a little with this match just needing a draw, this one just needing a draw, and I think Australia, Uzbekistan just needing a draw as well. You'd ideally want to come into this 3rd match in a group phase with every team needing a win. So be careful today. Draws don't help. The Croatian HNL1 League is back today. Excellent to see. And it's a usual Zagreb derby. Dinamo Zagreb have had the better of it recently. You can have a look in the head-to-heads. 2-1 Dinamo Zagreb, 29th of October. 2-1 Dinamo Zagreb. 3-1 Dinamo Zagreb. Dinamo Zagreb. Dinamo Zagreb, Lokomotiv Zagreb. So the momentum is certainly with the home side here. This is coming back after a winter break, so be careful. Similar story with the Czech 1 League. English League 1 we've looked at already. English League 2. Peterborough against Crawley. I like Peterborough. Is this a second leg or first leg? I'm not sure. Hasn't mentioned it. But I could stick that one on the roster this evening. Looks like I'm up for a late one. And French Ligue 2 is welcome addition. So, yes, I might have to do a late one tonight. And I'm not giving up the coffee now, because this could be a late one. French Ligue 2, I'll react purely in play. Just keep a tab on the odds on favourites. That'll give you an angle in. So hopefully we'll get some trading angles from French Ligue 2 this evening as well. The Greek Cup, OFI Crete against Panatolokos. Again, in-play stats there. Braga against Sporting. This is one of those top clashes. You can't discount either side. It's all dependent whether they're up for it or not. Copa del Rey, Celta Vigo, Real Sociedad, again 2.3 the favourite. Gives that one a bit of a wide berth. The Swiss Super League is returning. It's a watching brief at the moment. 2.1 the favourite, 2.1 the favourite. Yverdon are newly promoted. Just a watching brief coming off the back of that winter break. So looks like I'll have to see you a bit later on. It's going to be a late night for me. I'll be starting with the Turkish Super League, 5 o'clock, and the Asian Cup and African Cup of Nations. But do be careful. So many draws required. Angola, Burkina Faso, I think was one of them. Who was the other one? Guinea and Senegal. All they need is a draw, really. Australia, Uzbekistan. And Iran, UAE, I think is the other one. But they only need a draw to guarantee top 2 berth. Unless, of course, second in the league wants to aim for the win to go first in the league. So it's a tricky one, taking on matches where neither side needs to win. Because sides who don't need to win rarely do. Have a great day today. I'm not sure if I'll be doing the tennis. It's too late in the tournament now because you've got the cream rising to the top. And Novak Djokovic won the first set against Taylor Fritz. I think Taylor could fight back. He's been in brilliant form of late. Got that very exciting win. But he's had a quick turnaround. No, just 2 days. Beating Stefanos Tsitsipas, as I suspected he would give him a game. I think he'll be competitive against Novak. And Novak layable now, I think. Yannick Sinner and Rublev. I think the rankings are a little too tight. Top 5 clash. So you discount 1.22. Battle of the Gingers, this one. So bring your suntan lotion. These two could end up with freckles by the end of this likely 5-setter. Top 5 clash, so I'd immediately discount these odds. And in the ladies' game, it looks like we're heading into 3-set territory, aren't we? Is that going to be the same Sabalenka and Krekyanova? Given it's so late in the tournament, I would be laying the strong favourite if they won the first set. A bit like this one here, look. And hope that the second set's a tiebreaker, because Krekyanova is here on merit and she might just give a good battle. So I'll see you a bit later. Looks like a late start this evening. Hopefully English League 1, English League 2 will be as great as it's been over the Christmas period, where we've made a lot of money in those leagues. Have a great day.